Hello, and welcome to Air Indonesia. We thank you for choosing to fly with us today. We would appreciate your undivided attention as we deliver a brief message.
For decades, Indonesia has been recognized as a popular vacation destination for its natural beauty that gives tourists the ability to break away from urban development and connect with nature.
This reputation is a major source of foreign capital for Indonesia, and the country has become reliant on the tourism sector to support the economy.
As modernization has spread throughout the country, land use changes has converted undeveloped coasts into modern luxury hotels, temples into museums, villages into busy urban cities, and rice farmland into shops and restaurants. These land use changes have made many tourists doubtful if Indonesia still speaks to its cultural roots.
As we walk you through the travel features of your journey to Indonesia, we hope to communicate that while modernization has changed the landscape of Indonesia, the opportunities to experience the culture of the country through tourism have only increased due to the Indonesian government and native Indonesians' desire to expand the tourism sector.
Please locate the travel brochure in the pocket of the seat in front of you and follow along.
Start by turning on eco mode by storing away all plastic. Indonesia is the second largest plastic pollution contributor in the ocean, with 6.8 million tons of plastic being used each year. That's up to 93 million plastic straws used daily. So please assure that you are turning off your plastic consumption and use paper straws instead.
We kindly ask that you store away your carry-on items under the seat in front of you or in the overhead bins above your seats. We hope that you have extra room in your suitcases to take home souvenirs from your vacation.
Every urban city in Indonesia is filled with street vendors selling arts and crafts, jewelry, and designer items at low costs. Tourist traps are common, and many Indonesian sellers set up their businesses around tourist destinations, such as hotels, temples, or airports, making it nearly impossible not to purchase from these vendors.
On the island of Bali in Indonesia, over 450,000 native Balinese people live near the Bali airport, and most of these people are looking for business with tourists. But we can assure you that you won't regret these purchases.
Most artists in Indonesia work in cooperatives to produce masterpieces that can be seen on the walls of many Western homes. Many Indonesian local communities live off of their selling their art, like Miss Gima, who works on a long line of generational ceramics artists catering to tourists.
Art makes up 2/3 of the exports in the island of Bali, and most of these exports occur through direct sales between Balinese people and tourists.
Although we encourage you to dine with us on the duration of this 18-hour flight from Seattle to Indonesia, we would appreciate if you could store your tray tables in the up and locked position to prepare for takeoff.
Approximately 30 minutes after the aircraft reaches an altitude of 10,000 feet, the food and beverage cart will be available to order delicious food and drink items inspired by Indonesian cuisine. Now, please enjoy this message from our dining crew here at Air Indonesia.
Indulge in our dining specials, including nasi goreng, a staple Indonesian dish featuring fried rice, a fried egg, and vegetables. Or choose mie goreng, a noodle dish served with vegetables and your choice of tempeh, chicken, or shrimp. All entrees will be served with sambal, a popular spicy condiment. We recommend you try our lumpias, which are Indonesian spring rolls with fresh vegetables enveloped in a crispy golden brown pastry dough. Complimentary bottled water will be available throughout the flight. Make sure to stock up on these as it is the only safe source of drinking water in Indonesia. We also serve our standard selection of beverages, including tomato juice, for any psychopaths on board with us today. But wait, don't forget about dessert. Fried plantain is a classic sweet treat found on every street corner due to the abundance of plantains grown in Indonesia. You can even try grass jelly, which is derived from a sugary powder. Or, on second thought, maybe stick with the fried plantain.
And the fine dining doesn't end there. When we reach our final destination, you will have the opportunity to explore restaurants and street vendors selling a variety of Indonesian delicacies. The currency exchange rate in Indonesia is a huge factor in why so many people choose Indonesia as their dream travel destination.
Meals in Indonesia are 1/3 the price they are in the US, so you can finally buy that shiny 2006 Honda Odyssey that you've been eyeing.
Take a moment to notice the no smoking signal above your head. The smoking is prohibited on the aircraft at all times, and we encourage you to avoid smoking during your visit to Indonesia.
The pollution caused by smoking is devastating to the natural landscape of Indonesia and the diverse wildlife that inhabit the lush ecosystems.
The Indonesian government thrives off of ecotourism, which is a sector of tourism that draws visitors to tourist destinations surrounded in nature.
Ecotourism sites have become massively popular among tourists, and the number of foreign visitors to Southeast Asia has quadrupled in recent years because of the developments in ecotourism. But the breathtaking views of Indonesian beaches and rainforests are only made possible by committing to protect the environment from destruction.
So please, do your part and refrain from smoking. Next to the no smoking signal, you will notice the seatbelt signal, which is currently turned on. Just to let you know, there is a lack of safety precautions enforced in Indonesian transportation. Motorbikes are the most popular form of transport in the country, and it's uncommon for bikers to wear helmets or seatbelts while maneuvering through the crowded streets of Indonesia.
Speak to a staff member if you would like to purchase an in-flight entertainment device today. No worries if you don't though, you have plenty of experiences waiting you through art, music, dance, and religion once we reach Indonesia.
We encourage you to venture out and explore entertainment in local communities to experience the true culture of Indonesia and support native Indonesians. We recommend the Goalawa Bat Cave Temple, where you can experience a Hindu ritual with locals while surrounded by bats.
Also above you is a compartment that releases a COVID mask. Masks are strongly recommended on the airplane and will be required in some public spaces.
Upon our arrival, all passengers will undergo a temperature check, and self-quarantining may be necessary. These protocols may seem strict, however they are essential to limiting the spread of COVID-19 and allowing tourists to continue to enter the country.
At the height of the pandemic in 2020, Indonesia lost millions of international tourists. In December 2019, the amount of tourists in the country were about 1.3 million, but in November 2020, that number was only 175,000.
These significant decreases were devastating to the Indonesian economy, and 350 million in foreign exchange was lost in 2020, mostly due to the tourism decreases. 13 million Indonesians were employed in jobs related to the tourism sector prior to the pandemic. However, during the pandemic, many people were left unemployed or earning low wages.
A study conducted in 2020 found that 96.2% of tourism workers reported their occupation being affected in some capacity by the pandemic.
This illustrates how impactful the tourism industry is on the economy and the native people of Indonesia. So please be mindful and safe while traveling.
As we prepare for takeoff, make sure your headrest and footrest are stowed and your seat is not reclined. While we have your attention, it's important to recognize the impacts that tourism has on native people in Indonesia. In Bali, locals keep the island in pristine condition so that tourists keep coming back to experience their rich culture and beautiful natural views. 70% of the Balinese economy depends on your contributions to tourism. So before you visit, take a moment to reflect and understand how you can help locals out. Indonesians make a living selling their culture, so consider exploring local markets and streets and immersing yourself in the true culture away from the westernized resort life. Keep the streets clean, be environmentally conscious, and purchase those handmade Indonesian souvenirs. And if you have spare time, visit an iconic tourist village and leave knowing more about Indonesia than you ever thought you would.
Thank you for listening, and we hope you enjoyed this introduction to Indonesia.
We hope that you took away the importance of maintaining Indonesia's culture through preserving the natural landscape and supporting native Indonesians. Even as urbanization sweeps through the nation, we must put tourism in the hands of the natives to continue to be able to experience the many wonders of Indonesian culture.
And always remember, here at Air Indonesia, we have our slogan, I do Indonesia care. Please embody this slogan on your trip.
And we hope you enjoy our flight. Beverage cart will be available to order delicious food and drink items inspired by Indonesian cuisine. Now, please enjoy this message for our dining crew here at Air Indonesia.
I feel like it would have been more funny if Angela just kept going like nothing was happening.
Beverage cart will be available to order delicious food and drink items inspired by Indonesian cuisine. How am I supposed to keep a straight face when you do that? That was so good. That was so good. Ready?
Mm-hmm. It smells like rubber.
Kindly ask that you store away your carry-on items under the seat in front of you or in the overhead bins above your seats.
Wait.